Hey guys, follow along as we create a budget exhaust system for the VW bus with a Subaru engine. Got the stock Subaru exhaust system here with the catalyst, the pre-cat O2 sensor, the post-cat O2 sensor. So I'm going to be using some of these sections to build the new exhaust system for the bus. There's not a really good off-the-shelf aftermarket header for a single port that will work with putting a muffler kind of transverse along the rear bumper. So we're gonna fabricate off a Subaru Legacy car. And it really actually bolted up like this. It's down too far. I need to get it tucked up tight. Yeah, after looking at this exhaust system, I'm gonna make a real simple system. Just bolt a flange here, run around, tie in, exhaust pipe muffler here. All right, gonna get into a little parts harvesting here. On the old Subaru exhaust system, I'm gonna steal the O2 sensors. They were both functioning. I'm gonna steal that one and this one if I can get them out of here, maybe with a little heat. I got an O2 sensor removal tool right here. And I'm gonna start by pulling off some heat shields after that. And I'm probably gonna steal the Y pipe here, those flanges, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see where this takes us. All right, got the O2 sensor tool. Never thought that would come out. Usually these are so rusty, you gotta heat them up. I guess that's how you get them off, whether it's gonna be good or not when I'm done. Let that cool off and I'll pull the wrench off. Nothing a little heat can't solve. But the flange is usable. It sticks down pretty far. If anything, I may end up cutting it here and sliding over or whatever. Or keep on stripping these off. We'll get the flanges removed and possibly this Y, this nice Y right here. There we go. Okay, done. Do a little harvesting here. I'm going to pull that Y manifold off and I'm going to chop off these two flanges here. Those are the main components I believe I can use. I'll clean these up and we'll see if I can cobble together a system here. All right, I've got this Y manifold off the old Subaru, and I've seen a couple guys who mount it like this and they'll run a 90 off of here into this manifold right here. And then it's a 2-inch outlet, but I was thinking maybe cutting it off and running it here, and we're gonna do a little experimenting. Well, I got the header completely tacked together here. This is a little pie cutting, you know, kind of like a fabricated exhaust system. Just kind of took the Subaru exhaust and came across here. I got one gap here, 16th inch I got to fill, but used some of the bends from the Subaru, came into this Y pipe manifold. I like this Y pipe because it's got that diverter in there that, see a little sheet metal kicks a little bit of the, it kicks this gas this way. I've seen that before in exhaust when there's a Y manifold. That's kind of a neat deal. So everything's fairly tucked up a little higher than the pan here. And then off of this flange, I'm gonna come off with a flange, put the O2 sensor here so I'm reading both banks, and then come up with a muffler in this area. cool is I bought this, what's this, Walker part number? I think it's a Walker part number 41785. I bought it for the elbow because this thing was like 15 bucks, and just a regular elbow without a flange was 20. But anyway, I don't know why it was cheap, but I couldn't believe it. These bolt holes actually line up. I can use that flange. I'm gonna cut it off here. And I can either run a flex. I got a flex coupler, which is gonna go up to a muffler. I can either use this 2-inch flex coupler, or I've got some dreaded, you know, flexi exhaust tubing here. What I wanna do is I wanna isolate the engine, which is rubber mounted, and I'm gonna rigid mount the muffler on the back here. So back of the bus. So with all that flex going on, I got to have something that takes up some flex. So I might do a short section of this. As for the muffler here, I got a Walker 18169 muffler. I think that's about how long we got here. Let's get a measurement on this sucker. All right, we got 18 inches shell to shell, and it's got a 2-inch inlet. That's about 4 inches sticking out, 4 or 5 inches. And a real short outlet. The B is the outlet, A is the inlet. I got to mount that, and I was hoping to maybe mount it using a couple 2 to 3 hose clamps here. I bought a couple of these shelving brackets, and I want to put that muffler. I won't grab the muffler. I got the phone here in my hand, but I was going to put the muffler. It kind of fits real nice right about here. I don't want it close to my belts and getting hot. I don't want it tucked up in here. It will fit up in here. I got this open about 6 inch. It's about a 5-inch round muffler. But I'm gonna drop it down, and I think I'm gonna run the angle bracket here. If I bolt this angle bracket to the back of the bus, right onto this back strut, marked a couple spots. That'll hang right here. And I'll put a couple nutserts in these 2 holes. Instead of welding it on, I can remove it. I'll put a couple nutserts into the frame, and then I can just use this as a hanger and hang that muffler right across the back. It fits pretty nice. It'll fit, this is kind of wedged right up in there. It'll fit kind of like that, about the width of, yeah, it's 18-inch wide, you know, so that's where it's gonna go. So I got a nutsert. I'm gonna put 2 nutserts up here and 2 up here. I cut these angle brackets off a little bit. These are just Menards hardware store quarter 20 nutserts to go into this channel here. Got a U-bit. I need a short bit here to get up in here. I got a pilot hole drilled. Those are in there. There we go. And put the nutsert up in there. Okay. That's one. Quarter 20 nutsert. Okay, so I got 4, okay. Something like that. I might cut this off a little bit. The muffler is gonna hang. It's gonna hang in space right here, probably more towards the rear bumper. I want to keep the heat away from the engine, so we'll push it right back to the, you know, probably quarter inch from the bumper. I don't need this hanging off, but I'm gonna weld a little tab right here. That'll allow me to put a strap on it like this. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. I've got the bracket to be hanging there. I've got a part of the bracket I chopped off here. I cut a little slot in it with the mill, and that'll keep that band or like that. I might mount it underneath like this. That way this will contact the muffler, and then the band won't slip off. I got a channel cut in here. Right on. I'm gonna rosette welder right there. Okay. Here's what I got for the bracket, hanger brackets for the muffler. So I guess it'll go like this. Yeah, right there. Oh boy, even one will hold it. Oh man, I can do pull-ups off of that. Yep. Yep. Beautiful. I got about a finger width here. Under here, looks great. Airflow, plenty of airflow for temperature and for the engine to get air from the radiators out. I wanted to keep this clear, so that's pulled in tight, rigid mount. Looks all right. And now I just got to connect the dots from here to here. And I still need to put an O2 sensor. After the two collectors come together, I want a sensor here. I got to weld a bung in here. I mean, let's see. That's a little long. I'm going to nip that off. Damn, I could almost do it the old farmer method here. And I won't slip over that anyway. Slips over that. That would be great. Okay. Got that. Knock my light off. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. It's got some flex to it. What would a farmer do? Ah, right there. Let's see. Yeah, that's a better solution. That'll work better than flex pipe, I hope. That looks good. A little flexy, looks a little high tech there for the turbo boys. Muffler's tucked up just a little bit, hides a little of the engine. Gets a little bit of the heat out of the back. Real simple, real simple. And this turns up, it does a nice 90. Got the brackets there. Can't slide because we're hitting the ridge on either side, so can't slide left and right. The bands are real tight. I'll just buzz the welds around here. Yep. Exhaust system off. It's all tack welded together. I'm going to zip it off the unit here. Okay, I got the header clamp to the weld table. It's not pretty. I got a bunch of pie cuts here. I used all the existing bends off the Subaru. I got one large gap right here. That's about a 16th gap. I can fill that in. And then I had taken and I cut this. This used to be out at this elbow was at an angle like this, and I twisted it, cut it and twisted it so it'd come up to the other header, and that worked out really well. So I like this elbow because it's an elbow, it's a Y so I can join both banks of the engine, and it steps it up to a 2-inch with a flange that I can take apart for the final exhaust system. And I put a flexi in here, and the muffler can be rigid mounted to the chassis. So I'm using the Hobart 140 handler. That's a 140 amp welder, and it runs off 110. It really works good if it's directly plugged in the wall. It does not like an extension cord. Look at that. Okay. I do have a TIG welder, but this thing's pretty dirty, and I got a little bit of filling to do, so I'm just going to wire feed it. It's not a work of art. It's not like a show vehicle here. Yeah, it's not the prettiest, but I got the wire feed and sealed it up. Now I'm going to take the grinder and just knock some of the high spots off so it's not so ugly. You know what they say, if you're not a good welder, you might as well be a good grinder. We got a 36 grit wheel on here. We're just going to hit the high spots. All right, now to weld the flexi. See, it's got the flex in it for being body mounted muffler and rubberized engine, so that'll be helpful. So we get this welded together. To weld in this stainless bung here. It's a nice threaded, I think it's a M19, 19 millimeter thread. And I'm gonna put the collector here, 2-into-1, single exhaust. I'm gonna put it here. I'm only gonna use the front O2 sensor or pre-cat O2 sensor because I'm not gonna run a rear sensor. I don't care if there's a code for it. It's running the stock tune and the ECM, so it may run a code. I'm gonna drill it. I marked it right here. I got it marked out like where the O2 sensor would clear the chassis. Okay, look at that fit. You gotta love a Unibit. It's got a shoulder on here. It just drops right in, and that'll give me a spot to screw this O2 sensor right in there. Here's the exhaust system for the 2.2 Subaru engine, a single port. I used the old tubing and welded it up. I kind of cut and reorientated this Y fitting so I could. That's a inch and 5/8 pipe, and it goes into factory about 2-inch. So I ran 2-inch around here into the elbow onto this exhaust, this Walker exhaust pipe, and then I got a little downspout just kind of tack welded in. So yeah, I got to put one O2 sensor here with a flex pipe. This is mounted rigid to the body, so I put a flex pipe so the engine can move if needed during vibration. So that's how she's going to bolt together. Well, she's not the prettiest system, but it's probably the cheapest system you could build. If you don't add your 10 hours of labor building a complete exhaust system from garbage. Anyway, we're gonna throw a coat up. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I didn't want to wait around to get, elbows and farts, and I had what I needed here. So that's what we did. We just shoot her with some, what do we got here? 2000 Fahrenheit. Yeah, well, we'll see if it lasts more than 10 minutes on here, but it's worth a shot to clean it up, make it pretty before we put it on the bus. It's not like it's a fabricated race car exhaust system, but yeah, sure, nothing wrong with that. I got new gaskets for the header here. I'll just kind of get them on there a little crooked to hold the gaskets up here. Lined up on the one stud. See if it still flat. Oh man, I thought I might have some trouble flexing, but I put it on the table and it was still flat, so that's good. A couple tight here. All right. Yep. Okay. Let's do a walk around. Now that it's finite, finished. So, stock Subaru system, modified. There was like 2 inches of pipe left over when I got done fabricating this. So I come out of here with a bunch of pie cuts, wrapped around the motor mount. Not a lot of clearance here, 1/4 inch probably. Comes straight through here, clearance here, around. This drops out of the other manifold, out of the other head, and then that does a turn. This drops into 2 inch. Got a flex, it's a 6 inch flex coupler. O2 sensor will screw in right here. This guy right here, will screw in right here. It's going in right there, real nice. And I got a little nice access for the wires. Zip tie, there's nuts not in the way. And then 90-degree bend into the muffler, rigid mounted. I've got a little air gap to the chassis, you know, a little bit air gap, and I got a quickie. I didn't weld that all the way around. I just put a few spots just for fun. And it's tucked up really nice. The lift. Here's a side view. It's above the oil pan, you know. So I got clearance here. This might be visible a little bit. That kind of looks kind of high-tech and racy. From the back end, I centered that muffler, pretty centered on the engine. Coming down on the inside here, it's still dropping down, but there's a lot of room here. I got probably, I think this is about 3.5 inches. And there's the clamps right there. I used up these brackets on the frame. A lot of airflow can get around this muffler. That was the intent. And then the O2 sensor right there. Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of putting the exhaust system on the Subaru engine on the old 74 Volkswagen bus. My plan here was to go low cost and fabricate, and that's what we did here. You know, if you're not into fabrication, don't like welding and fabricating, you could probably find a system online. I see they're going for, you know, $400 or $500, $600, $700. I think I've got about 75 bucks in here. So follow along, like and subscribe to the channel, and watch the entire build.
Look
Thanks,
at
guys.
it. Yeah. Well, what the heck is that?